Now we're going to look at a section called Sharpening Your Saw, because I'm sure you can imagine as you are pouring out your energy, you become tired. You know, our body, our mind, our soul, it's a little bit like a tool, like a saw that is gradually worn down by use. And so at some point, this tool needs to be resharpened. Otherwise, it just gets harder and harder to keep going. And there are four different dimensions to the renewal that we need. We need physical renewal, which is about exercise, nutrition, stress management, so on. We need spiritual renewal, which is about value clarification, commitment, study, meditation maybe. We need mental renewal, which is about reading, visualizing, planning, writing, and so forth. And of course we need social and emotional renewal, which might be about service or empathy, synergy, and just intrinsic security. You know, ourselves is the most important tool we have, and sometimes I'm not sure that we take really good care of it. You know, the personal maintenance of our tool, our self, is absolutely critical, and it falls right in the center of our circle of influence. Do you remember there are some things that can concern us, but there are some things that we can control. This is our circle of influence, the things that are on our plate, you know, the things that we are responsible for. And, you know, it's important to you know, it might be interesting to think about all the things that concern us, but actually the thing that we can control are the things that are on our plate, our circle of influence. And, you know, it's worth reflecting on, well, which of these things are urgent and important? Which of those things are not really so important? Which of those things are not so urgent? You know, and we need to, as well as focusing on those things which are urgent and important, because they obviously get our attention, we also need to be thinking about the stuff that is important but isn't so pressing. Whereas the stuff that's urgent but it's not really important, those things, I suggest that often you need to just put them down. And if you do have anything that's not important and is not urgent, it's not going to happen. Don't worry. So let's look at these four different dimensions of renewal, starting with the physical world. Food. I know this talk is all about leadership and management and so on, but actually I'm going to speak briefly about food. Don't miss breakfast. Eat little and often. Eat a balanced diet. Don't go consuming stupid empty sugars. Drink lots of water. You know, take all of the medical advice that is out there. You know, there's lots that we know about how to maintain our bodies. And often we just don't do it. It's the same with things like exercise. We often think that we don't have time to exercise. But if you can put just a few hours of exercise into each week, you'll keep in shape. And actually that will save you, who knows, weeks, months, years of problems later on. You don't need any fancy equipment to exercise. You can do endurance stuff, you know, the cardiovascular aerobic exercise like walking and running or swimming even. You know, it's not about exhaustion. It's not pushing yourself that hard. It's just about keep on going. Just simply do some sort of exercise that you can carry on talking whilst you do it. That's a good indicator that you're not going too hard. There's obviously going to be flexibility exercises about stretching before and after an exercise, or doing, these things that help to stretch your ligaments, particularly as you get a bit older. And then, of course, it's actually very useful to do a few strength exercises as well as the endurance stuff. You know, do a few press-ups, a few sit-ups. But of course, remember, strength is only going to be built up when you get to that pain threshold. But of course, you're only there for a very short time when you're doing strength stuff. So as we take control of our physical self, so this also has great benefits to our mind, because we start getting a little bit more proactive. Our self-esteem goes up as we realize actually we are still in control. Do make sure that you're getting enough sleep. You need to have ideally 8 hours of sleep each night. Some of the ways that you can improve your sleep: avoid computer screens, and that includes your telephone for an hour or two before bedtime. Avoid alcohol and coffee. Go to bed early. Rise early. Be consistent in your bedtime and your rising time. That will improve your sleep pattern, which will improve your physical state. Spiritual renewal. Oh, this is actually all about inner peace. And for some people, this might be found in the scriptures of the Bible or some other scriptures. For some people, it's just about music or nature. Take a day to go somewhere that just makes you feel really happy, that refills you up. Think about some of the places and the things that you did as a kid that filled you with joy. Spend some time just listening to the sounds around you. What are some of the things that motivate you in life? Do the washing up. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but there was one famous monk who said that was where he routinely met with God, was in the very simple things where he just said, okay, in this time, I want to meet with you, Lord. And he did. In the washing up was where he found his most inner peace. For some people, it's about journaling. Maybe at the end of the day, writing down, what are some of the things you're worried about? What are some of the things that you're thankful for? If you write down, 3 things that you are thankful for in that day, that helps your mental and your spiritual state of renewal. You have to see that you are not the center of the universe. There are other things out there which are bigger than us. And that really helps to renew us. And there's the mental realm. Once we leave formal education, some of us give up learning, unless we really have to. And instead, we let the TV, we let the internet fill our minds with all kinds of amusing stuff. But are we selective? Do we choose what we put into our brain, or do we just allow whatever comes from the advertising agencies? Read as much as you can. Stretch your thinking, criticize what you're reading, think critically whilst you're reading, discuss with other people, debate. A lovely quote that I enjoy was that the person who doesn't read is no better off than the person who cannot read. And of course, another powerful mental development tool is writing. Either you can keep a journal of what you're doing in your days, your thoughts, your feelings and so on, or you could write some essays, write some piece of critical thinking and analysis. This really helps your mind to grow and to become stronger and to be more resilient. Just as your body needs exercise, actually, so does your mind need exercise. But it also needs time to rest, to consolidate. So allow yourself to drift, to get bored, because that's actually when your brain is doing all kinds of interesting stuff in turning the thinking processes into wisdom. Then, of course, there's the whole social and emotional side of things. Sometimes we think that, well, we are who we are. We can't learn and grow in this area, but actually you can. You can learn new skills about how to deal with people, how to develop your social skills. And ultimately, we need to be seeking balance in our lives. So I challenge you, are there areas here where you think, yeah, that is an area where I need to grow in? Well, fine. Go for it. Do it. He who cannot change his own mind cannot hope to change anything else in this world. If you need to change yourself, go ahead and do it, because you have to be able to do that before you're going to be in a position to be able to lead other people.